So coming up next is a discussion with the JIA, some representatives from the JIA, to talk about, and JIA is Japanese Institute of Architects, corresponding to the AIA, to talk about some of their activities following the Great East Earthquake, which happened last March. With me today is Taro Ashihara.
Yes.
Who is the president of the JIA, and also Yoshihiko Sano, who is the president principal of Yasui Architects.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you, and thank you so much for coming all the way from Japan. So what's really incredible, because I looked at this presentation, and it's remarkable what you did in such a short amount of time, how the JIA became so involved with such an important recovery effort. And to me, it's inspirational as an AIA member to see what can be done when architects together are volunteering and doing something for their community. So would you like to talk a little bit about what
Yes.
you've been doing?
Because we had a serious big earthquake last spring, but the JIA members made a huge effort to work for the recovery of the earthquake disaster area. But we often have the earthquake in Japan, but this one is a seriously big one.
Yes.
So especially the tsunami, the big wave came after the earthquake. So the small villages along the coast was destroyed by the tsunami. So it was a very serious situation. So our member architect made a huge effort to work for the community to recover their villages. So I think Mr. Sano will make some presentation and also the slide, so he can explain.
Yeah. Well, let me mention one thing: is that it's of course here we're following on the news what was happening, when it was happening, but what you don't see is what happens after. What happens after, and what we're here to talk about is the recovery and the kinds of things that the JIA did in terms of rebuilding those villages. So please.
Yeah. Okay. So Mr. Sano, please explain our activities.
Yes. So, as Taro Ashihara said, the JA members was so busy for helping the recovery of from the great disaster, and also, so JA members have been working hard to picture a new regional plan of damaged areas since the earthquake, and also so busy for building the temporary houses with the design-build team, Japanese state design-build team, architect, builder, carpenter, and students. So many professional working force was working hard to rebuild the construction of the damaged areas.
So you mentioned that, I mean, Japan, and we know there's lots of these earthquake areas. So is this a plan that's already created in advance so that when something like this happens that you're already prepared for this, or is this something that something terrible happens and then you quickly mobilize and then you make a plan? Meaning, was this plan that we'll see, was it designed before this?
Yes. So this slide shows that, so first one is, this one is before the quake, and so this is a picture of the Yamada-cho, the small fisherman's village of the Iwate prefecture. So the 9 meters high tsunami hit Yamada-cho. So the all of the almost the town was covered under the sea. Is left bottom of the left, and so the currently the situation of the Yamada-cho is so right up and right. It mostly gone swiped away, and so mostly damaged by the tidal waves. So the left, right bottom is so future plan proposed by my firm. So, but so under the situation of the earthquakes, originally, so this area is so not so active in business right now. So it will take a few more years to revive such kind of the so ideal plan of idealism. it will take a long time from the recovery.
So, I mean, there is a couple of steps. If we simplify, we said that there was a series of stages. It was one was to come and to assess the damage. That was engineers and architects, again volunteering. And the second part was a design part. The second part, or it was an assessment. And there was a period of design.
Yes. So design work will take many years to complete. So probably as I showed in the PowerPoint, so the drastic change of the region should be better to do with the organization who experienced large rebuilding, experienced large building. I missed some kind of words. Organization who experienced large building project will be better to take in charge of the rebuilding the area.
Well, we have a lot of slides, so why don't we move it along so you can see some of the really interesting diagrams that you made, which explains exactly what you're talking about. Yes. Are you controlling the? Can you?
Or the earthquake.
Yeah, what was amazing, and if we can get this to work, but what was amazing because I saw the presentation is that you had architects designing very quickly recovery, relief housing for people. Yeah. It's temporary housing, very fast.
Yes.
And then at the same time planning for how people would then resettle that area.
Yeah, right. So one example to introduce is in that case many young students take part in the progress. So that is a possibility to do the new educational chance for the student and professors. So the young professionals and young students studied a lot from through the recovering process from the earthquake. It's a good experience for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great experience, but it's more than that. I mean, they're doing something very, very meaningful. I mean, we talked earlier today about students in architecture in America and how they are becoming more conscious. They care more about these kinds of issues so that when you have something like this happen, they are ready and willing and able to help, which I think is very inspiring.
Yeah. So I wish let us keep in touch with American young professionals, and I wish our experience in recovery from the damage, the earthquake. So let us share with American citizens and American professionals, and for preparing the future big disaster, including the hurricane or tornadoes and earthquake and the accident of the atomic nuclear plants, and some kind of the big disaster we should prepare with all of the professional of the many international levels.
No, I mean, what's so impressive was that you have, in a very short amount of time, architects mobilizing, and you had I saw a very, very nice series of diagrams of where they would mobilize depending upon where the disaster would take place. And so there was a plan of attack in terms of how to then create temporary housing very quickly, and then it was temporary housing, but where people could stay for a longer period of time. And within 6 months, I mean, there was parts of the villages that were rebuilt entirely. And then beyond that, there was a plan that maybe that these villages should not be there anymore, that they should be rebuilt someplace more safe, right?
Yeah. So in this stage, I want to emphasize 2 points. One is for the villages damaged by the tsunami, completely destroyed. So not to just to recover as it is. We have to think new concept or new philosophy, or what kind of community we have to build, or what the kind of the villages we are going to propose. Because not necessary to make it recover as it is the same thing. We should design and the new villages, new community for safe, sustainable community you have to design. So in that sense, architect is needed for the philosophy or design for the new vision. See? The one more is for the disaster, but because of the new nuclear electric plant, that area is not destroyed by the tsunami, but by the なんていうんですか、放射能は by the radiation. No one can go there. So we don't know how to deal with those villages. So we need some idea for the future vision is needed. In that sense, professional architect has to think for the new vision for the disaster area. So that's why we have to, as a volunteer, we have to help them, and also as a professional architect, we have to give them the future vision or future hope for their community. That's our architect's role, I think.
You know, the theme of this convention is Design Connects, and we talked about architects with builders and clients, but we didn't really talk about associations like the AIA and the JIA. So, I mean, to me, there's so much to learn from the things that you're doing, and I would encourage people to look at Architectural Record, but also, I mean, where can they find the PowerPoint, which I think is so interesting in terms of how, and it explains in time exactly what was taking place and how you responded, which I thought was almost like a kind of a military thing. It was so organized of how and where, and you would mobilize, and then what would be done by when, and to see the results now is amazing. And I'm sure even now it must be even further along. So thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you coming all the way from Japan and to share with you your work.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.